Hi, and welcome to another episode of Life Plus. I'm your host, Dr. Marilyn Johnson, and
I'm Audrey Galix, and we're here at Memorial Tattoo in Atlanta,
where we're going to be talking about some really interesting body art and talking with a lady today.
Wait, hang on a second. It's not called tattoos?
No. It's body art. Okay. Body art. Everybody has body art nowadays. If you ask anyone in here who is doing body art, they're going to explain to you probably that the tattoo is something different, or maybe that's a cliche or past type of thing.
Well, I'm wondering if it's all about being your authentic self and expressing yourself authentically, which is really, in some ways, what Life Plus is all about.
I think of it, is it more than anything else? And today we're going to have a wonderful lady with us who's going to really give us information about her experience with body art over a 15-year period. So you want to be sure that you stay with us for that.
Her story is really inspirational.
Every way we want to express ourselves, and hopefully you'll learn through Life Plus that expressing yourself is a great way to live and live Life Plus. That's what we're all about.
And that's the message you'll hear from this group of elders who've gathered for the weekly meeting in Atlanta of SAGE, which stands for Services and Advocacy for LGBT Elders. We met with them on the eve of the U.S. Supreme Court decision on same-sex marriage to talk about what it's been like to age in a world that's largely excluded them. You'll also hear from the authentic Jane Ratliff, who will bring you a tech talk on how to add birthdays and other celebrations, as well as doctor's appointments, to your mobile device. But first, she did it on a dare.
We were in Panama City, and I went with my ex-sister-in-law and got a little tiny butterfly. And 2 weeks later, all the color was gone. So I went to my local shop after really being kind of scared to go in because I didn't know what was behind those doors.
What she found at the tattoo parlor was people just like her.
And they told me that they would put the color back in and don't ever get it in a vacation spot because they water their ink down. They know you're not coming back.
Malia Reynolds is her favorite tattoo artist.
I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's great that everybody is getting tattooed and that tattoos are for everybody now and it's not so taboo anymore. And I think it's a true testament to how far it's come, especially with women getting them, you know. It's definitely more acceptable now, which I think is awesome.
At the time, Rita Siddig was 52. Now she's 67.
And then when my son died, I had one put on me for him. And then my daughter was sick, and we had one put on there for her. And by the time I had lost 2 kids, I went in and I decided I wanted a fairy and a dragon, and it was kind of my way of saying, leave my kids alone. It was just my way of protecting my other 2 children. I know God's in control, but in my mind, it was a way to say, those are my family.
She also got a tattoo in honor of her other daughter, who skates for the Atlanta Roller Girls under the name Death Skull.
I told my artist that I needed a skull, but it had to be something really sissy, and it had to have roller skates, and this is what she drew.
Oh, it's very...
And that's my only skull.
Okay.
Everything else is very sissy, girly kind of stuff.
Her family has been supportive.
I asked my husband and my kids if it would embarrass them if I put tattoos in places that people could see. They said no, it wouldn't bother them, so I just never looked back.
How long have you been married?
33 years.
And so that goes to show you can do what you want to do within your relationship, which is very encouraging.
Right, and my husband has none, and he never will. But that's okay.
Yes.
He goes to tattoo conventions with me when I get up on stage and show. He's right there with the camera, taking pictures. And honestly, he's the first one when we see somebody that we haven't seen in a long time, or somebody from his work, he's constantly pulling up my pants legs or my shirt to show them. So he's proud.
And it's offered an opportunity to bond with her granddaughters.
I have paid for 3 of my granddaughters to get there first, but it had to be where I would take them, because I knew it was clean. Couldn't be anything evil, no boys' names, and it had to be where it could be hidden for their first. After that, you do what you want.
Strangers give her body art mixed reviews.
Young people come up to me all the time. When I go to Six Flags, I always end up having my picture made with bukus of kids that come up. But I do have people that walk by me and their children will say, oh, I want to be just like her one day, and the mom's like, no way. And I always will turn around and tell them, listen to your mom, don't do anything that you're going to regret, and don't look at me and say, I want to be like you. You be you.
It's the adults, middle-aged folks, who are the first to give her dirty looks.
Some people are nice and some people are nasty.
Okay.
And it seems to be people my age, they're usually the ones who are really negative. But I honestly think they're just jealous that they didn't do what they wanted to. Maybe they've got something they wanted to do and they just didn't have the nerve to do it.
So for those thinking of getting body art, even the tattoo artist warns against getting someone's name in ink.
I think people have realized that that's the kiss of death. And I have a funny story about that too. I had a lady, she'd been married for 25 years and she got her husband's signature tattooed on her, and within 6 months they broke up. Yeah, after 25 years. And I don't know what led up to her getting that tattoo, but she got his signature after 25 years, and then next thing I heard, they weren't together anymore. So it still stands true. It's the kiss of death. Don't do it.
But if necessary, you can get a tattoo removed or revamped.
All the time, yeah. I can't tell you how many tattoos I cover up, fix, or say, sorry, I can't do anything with that. Yeah, I would say it's got to be at least 30 to 40% of my business is fixing older tattoos and redoing them. I think people that have older tattoos are seeing how much we can do with them now, and so they want their tattoo to look awesome now. You know, if you've had it for this long, you want it to be just as cool as everybody else's, you know, so occasionally we have to fix them up.
The day of our visit, Carla Wheatley came in from Alabama to mark a milestone birthday.
This tattoo is for my 50th birthday. The other tattoo was just because I wanted it, but the piercing was to mark my 40th anniversary, well, my 40th birthday, not anniversary.
You are your own woman. I love it.
And I have all these young ladies, like if they're a waitress or something, go, oh, that's so cute. You have a pierced nose. I'm like, yes, I've had it a long time. And I actually think it's kind of hot, but if you say it's cute, that's fine, sweetie.
And she's not worried about her tattoo aging or wrinkles.
I'm just planning on when my grandchildren come around, just pull the skin up and go, look at here, honey, this is what Granny got.
Meantime, Rita Sittig never considered covering her face with tattoos, but she has considered this.
The only thing I have kind of thought about was shaving a small place underneath my hair and having a heart or something, you know, put there, but I haven't really decided.
Even without that extra tattoo, she says if you're not hurting anyone other than yourself and you want one, just do it.
I would say just do it. Just do what you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, then I don't see anything wrong with whatever you decide you want to do.
Okay, now, finally, all of the tattoos that you have, about how much have you spent on them?
Oh, I could have probably bought a nice car.
Okay. So, does it hurt?
Yes. I'm not going to lie. It hurts. The ones on your ribs hurt the most. I slept through the ones under my arms. But everybody has their own places that hurt worse than others. I think my chest piece hurt a lot because it's just bone there. But it's worth it.
And if the thought of the pain might keep you from getting a real tattoo, don't forget, there are temporary ones, the kind you press on with a little moist paper towel and peel off, perhaps with a little help from soap and water and some light scrubbing. Don't go away. Life Plus will return in a moment. Welcome back to Life Plus. It's shortly before 11 a.m. on a recent Thursday morning. Coffee's brewed, snacks are out. People are gathering, and a mean table tennis tournament is underway. In the event room of the Philip Rush Center, Linda Ellis, director of the Health Initiative and co-director of the Rush Center, greets people and explains a possible sponsorship involving AARP for the 45th Annual Atlanta Pride Festival in October, including the possibility of a shuttle service.
For anybody who is a senior or disabled and needs that sort of ride, that may be one thing that they build into their sponsorship. And then there is, they're wanting to bring in some sort of entertainment and some sort of event. So one of the things that we had talked about last week was some sort of interactive history or timeline.
And she speaks to the group about what was then only a possibility, not a certainty, the upcoming decision by the U.S. Supreme Court on the issue of same-sex marriage.
And on a personal note, my partner Leslie and I were going to be the first ones to get married, and that's probably not going to happen now. Just because we can't figure out, the Fulton County is going to start issuing marriage licenses at 1 o'clock on the day of the ruling. Because they want to get a jump. Fulton County wants to make sure they're the first ones issuing the licenses. So they're jumping as quickly as they can. And we can't figure out how to get our boys back from summer camp quickly enough. So unless we hit the right period when we have both boys here in town, we won't. But you're all invited to, whatever ends up happening in our backyard.
And what happened was something the aging LGBT community has longed for. Sarah Lynn Chestnut says she'd be flabbergasted.
If you had asked me 20 years ago, I would have said, no way, there is no way. Let's see, 20 years ago, same-sex sex, like Carl was saying, was illegal, much less marriage. And I just can't believe it. And what's changing is young people. Because more of us came out, young people feel free to come out, and their peers just say, well, what's the big deal? Why does it matter? And it doesn't. So I'm amazed and overjoyed. It's not that we don't have a ways to go. We do need to pass federally an Employment Non-Discrimination Act, so we'll have federal protection against discrimination in housing or employment.
Yet the issues regarding aging in the LGBT community include many of the same all older people feel, like visibility. Carl Gustafson explains.
In a situation where a group of about 10 young people and myself, and they were all about 25, 30, and went around the room introducing themselves and just skipped right past me. And it was like, what am I? What about me? And so there's a huge question of visibility. And I know in the gay community and in turn the male community, you get to about 40 and you're just supposed to disappear. The old elephants go out to the field, and I think one of the things that's interesting is the whole bear community, where it's becoming a body image of not so svelte, not clean cut, is being acceptable, more of a middle-aged body being a dad bod sort of thing being more okay. And so there are bear bars, places where people can go who aren't just cute young things and that. So there's a whole evolution in the gay community. You really do disappear after about 40.
Healthcare remains a major concern, particularly in rural areas and for the transgendered people, as we hear from Reverend Aaron Swenson and activist Blake Alford.
even though, you know, Blake is a guy and I'm a woman in some respects, my healthcare needs can parallel the needs of a 68-year-old man. And so finding physicians or medical professionals who have experience with doing that kind of thing is somewhat of a challenge.
I go to, I had to go have some surgery. And you have to go, you know, and be checked to make sure you're okay for surgery. And so they have to go in and you have to have your heart checked to make sure you're okay. So they go in and they tell you, we're gonna put the leads on you. The girl comes in and she says you have to take your shirt off, so I take my shirt off and she starts putting the leads on and she goes, honey, what happened to your chest? I haven't seen scars like this before. And I looked at her and I said, oh wow, I'll give you 3 stories, one's true. and she goes, okay, and I said, well, shark attack. And I said, I was in Vietnam and the did it. I said, I used to be a woman and they took my boobs off. And she said, well, that wasn't it. And I said, okay. And she said, I've never seen a shark bite somebody like that. It's not jagged enough. And she says, how long were you in Vietnam? and I said, wrong story. And so she started looking real close and she said, there's no way a shark could have bit you like that without biting you totally in two, because the scars go all the way around to here. And I turned around and I said, shark didn't bite me either. I said, I used to be a woman. She hit that door like I had some disease. I mean, out the door, she flew out the door. I had to call the nurse and ask for the charge nurse. And I told the charge nurse, I said, really, you know, I said, you need to educate your people. I said, if they don't want to know, they need not ask. Right. And so I ended up going and having my chest completely tattooed.
Beyond healthcare, housing. Carl Gustafson's surveys for SAGE show most LGBT people want to live in mixed housing, and they fear returning to the closet.
When they talk about going to senior housing, the possibility of having to go back into the closet to not be their full selves, to straighten up their room, so they put away their pictures. They don't talk about people, they talk in different pronouns and a whole different thing, and not be able to, for instance, grieve their lover, the love of their life that may have been multi-decade relationship, and not be able to properly mourn that, to have it honored, to people know about it.
Studies also show LGBT and straight people want the same thing in old age.
There's physical activity, there's mental activity, they want to have social connection. Social connection is really the key factor in the whole thing, because that can drop off so quickly if someone becomes isolated. They all of a sudden can't drive, or their driver can't drive, or whatever, and all of a sudden their whole social network is gone because they can't get out of the house. And being socially isolated actually increases your chance of death by 26% in any given year, so it's a major risk factor.
And always the entertainer, the legendary Diamond Lil offered this.
When you think about being an older person, is it a lonely time?
Oh, yes. You cry every night on your tear-stained pillows. And it's...
You're not dramatic, are you?
No, not at all. No, I'm real. So, real life. I love real life. If you can get through it, it's a miracle.
And if you'd like to add the date of a miracle, or maybe when you got your first tattoo onto your mobile device, here's Jane Ratliff to show you how.
Hi, this is Jane Ratliff with Blue Hair Technology Group, and today's Tech Talk is about the Calendar app on both the iPhone and the iPad. Since I'm using the iPad today, I'll be referencing and showing you how to use it on the iPad, but it's exactly the same on the iPhone. So the Calendar app comes standard on the iPad, and you just have to find it. So you can swipe back and forth like I'm doing here, and it jumps right out at you because it has the date. And as you can see, today's date is the 1st, and there it says the 1st. But if you can't find it, and sometimes that's frustrating for people, they just can't seem to find the app, there's a second way you can actually find the app on your iPad, and it's called Spotlight Search. So to do that, you take your finger in the center of the screen, press and pull down. And you'll see that up at the top is a search bar, and your regular keyboard comes up. Now I have some stuff up in that search field, so by hitting my backspace button, I'm going to delete it, and it actually says Spotlight Search now. So we're looking for the calendar app. So this Spotlight Search looks for anything on your iPad. So I'm going to type in calendar, C-A-L-E-N, and I'll just start it, and I don't have to even finish it. And you'll notice that it says the header is applications, and I actually have 2 calendar applications on my iPad, but we're going to go to the standard one that comes with the iPad called Calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And up comes the calendar app on the iPad. Now the calendar app is great for keeping track of birthdays, for keeping track of meetings, for events, social events, anything that you might have happening in your life. One of the things I think is best though is for birthdays. And I'm going to show you a shortcut that helps you put birthdays on the calendar as repeating events. And that way you'll never miss another friend or family member's birthday. So when you want to add a birthday to the calendar, you're actually going to go to the Contacts app, because it's in the specific contact record where you're going to make that change and update the record. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on Contacts, and I'm going to bring up a friend. Let's call her Jane Doe. So up here in the search field, I can start typing in Jane, and then DOE, and there's Jane Doe. So here's Jane's record in the Contact app. To make a change or to add something to it, I'm going to tap Edit, and I'm going to scroll down. As you can see, there's a lot of things that you can add to a contact record, but here is Add Birthday. I hit the green plus button, and let's say that it's today, June 1st. You can change it by scrolling. You actually have to scroll through to get to the actual month of the birthday, but let's just say we're going to put it down as June. And again here, you're going to scroll through. You'd be scrolling through to get it to those different days of the month itself, and we'll just say it's June 1st. So let's say Jane Doe's birthday's today, June 1st. And you can keep it at no year if you want to, or you can put a specific year if you want to. I always just like to keep it at no year, and then it adds it every year to the calendar. So there we are, June 1st. You want to tap Done. So we'll tap Done. You can see June 1st has been added there. We're going to add Done again. And now Jane Doe has a birth date of June 1st in her contact record. Now the magic happens. I'm going to press the Home button, and I'm going to go back to the calendar. So here's the calendar app. I'll tap on Calendar. And now, across the top is where all birthdays appear. And you actually can see it has like a little present, a little icon of a present. But there's Jane Doe, and that's her birthday. You also see that I have a couple other birthdays in the calendar. So now you have, by putting the information in the contact record of all your friends and your family members, and looking at the calendar on a regular basis, you're going to know exactly when everyone's birthday is. A couple more things about the calendar app. You have the option across the top to see it or view the calendar app by various options. You can view it by a day. You can view it by week. You can view it by month. And when it's in month view, you can actually scroll through the months. And then you can also look at it by year, which is actually very handy if you're planning something in the future. You've got your year in advance that you can scroll through. So now we know how to add a birthday, but we have a lot more events on our calendars than birthdays, right? So we have parties, we have doctor's appointments, a lot of different things. So I'm going to show you how to add those now. The way you do that is you tap the plus button on the calendar up at the top. So by tapping the plus button, it opens up what I call a dialog box. It allows you to put the title in, the location, and some more important information. So we'll just do a very basic one. So let's say we're going to a party this weekend at Leo's. So the title of the event will be Party at Leo's. Get the apostrophe in there, Leo's. Got to spell it right. Party at Leo's, and the location will be Midtown. So we've got that. Now it says, when does it start? So we're going to go back to that roulette wheel type thing. We're going to, let's say it starts Saturday, because Saturdays are good days for parties, right? Saturday at 9 o'clock at 9 p.m. So we've got the start date. If we wanted to put the end date in, you can. The end date, or the end time, let's say. Let's make it 11 p.m. So it's a short party, but it will be fun. And that's really the most important things, I think, to put in there. So you want to tap the add button. And as soon as I put the add button, I can come over to the 6th. And if I scroll up for 9 p.m., you'll see that we have Party at Leo's in Midtown. And you can do this with any event. Again, just by pressing that plus button. This is Jane Ratliff for Blue Hair Technology Group.
Well, what do you think, Marilyn? You gonna pick one of these out?
It may not quite be my cup of tea. I like makeup artistry the better.
Yeah, that's temporary. You can wash it off.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
That.
That's right. But it was wonderful to spend that time with Rita today. It was
absolutely.
Wonderful, and to get a point of view about how she felt about it and how many other people are feeling about it. So I love and respect anyone's art. So it was a great show, and I hope you enjoyed it as well.
And you know what I was really, really impressed with also is that she talked about how you want to express your authentic self, and that she also would counsel younger people who say that they want to get a tattoo, but their parents don't want them to mind your parents, to listen to your parents. I think that was a little surprising, and I was really delighted to hear that.
And also to put it in a place where people can't see it, so that if you're trying to get hired, you can still get hired.
Or at least start there.
That's right. That's really important.
Just be yourself. That's the bottom line, no matter what age you're at, right?
In closing, we want to bring you more and more opportunities to live Life Plus, and this is just one of them. And you're going to be seeing many more. So live Life Plus.